acute toxicity would be like immediate effects to life, survival, it's death of whatever is being exposed. Generally in Alberta, we test that with rainbow trout. So we'll expose them to the industrial wastewater, the tailings of interest at various dilutions, and you can't cause death of the species or that individual. Then chronic toxicity, that's where we measure subclinical effects. So maybe effects on behavior, function, the immune system, different organ systems. And it's interesting that this is coming up because we keep hearing people talk about the imperial release and how it's actually petroleum hydrocarbon, PHC fraction 2. That's an acute water quality guideline. If this leak has been going on for 9 months and that water body has been exceeding an acute guideline for 9 months, we're actually moving into a chronic exposure scenario, but we don't have a chronic guideline for that hydrocarbon. So I think it's important that people understand whether you're seeing loss of species or populations from death or acute effects or chronic effects, decreases in biodiversity, loss of species, function, maybe not having enough aquatic invertebrates to feed the fish, and you don't see those effects for many years in water bodies, which we're moving into with the groundwater contaminated tailings that are moving to surface. I do think that the oil sands industry is a chronic stressor on that landscape. It's been disturbing and changing the soil, the air, the water for decades. And it's hard to understand small subclinical changes that could have been happening in early years because we didn't monitor them the same as we do now. So, across time and across space, the scale is just tremendous in this area. Yeah, so the oil sands monitoring program, and it's had many past iterations, but generally it's a joint federal provincial monitoring program, $51 million a year. You have various technical advisory committees monitoring air, groundwater, surface water, wetlands, terrestrial biological function. And so within those, the continuous air monitoring network, I think, is very well managed by WABIA. I think we understand the effects to air. The reporting is pretty clear for the lower Athabasca Regional Plan air monitoring. When we look to groundwater, I had detected that when I reviewed Imperial's groundwater monitoring reports, they report on a regional groundwater monitoring well between the north end of the tailings pond and the Firebag River. And they've been reporting over several years increasing trends of naphthenic acids. But that data goes into the oil sands monitoring program, and we don't see a groundwater report similar to air. When we look to surface water, there's so much data being collected in this area, and it is decreasing over time, but it's not being analyzed and interpreted to the degree that air is, and we don't understand really what's happening with the main stem of the lower Athabasca River, the various tributaries that feed into it. And then wetlands, I've never seen a report. There's some monitoring. So there's just tremendous amounts of data being collected, but it is almost being analyzed as principal investigators, which are generally federal researchers with Environment Canada, when they can get around to analyzing and publishing, which can take years. So I just think if we had some automation built in, and we could really improve reporting for the surface water and understand what's changed over time and across space.